Welcome back to my channel. It's Angel from the Works of Angel's Hands coming to you with another video. Today I'm making homemade pasta sauce and also homemade beefaroni for the kids. So I'm making my sauce from scratch. I have about 11 tomatoes, cooking tomatoes, what we call in Trinidad. And I'm going to cut those up and put them in my blender. I am not going to blanch or boil or peel my potatoes before I make my sauce because I want all of the nutrients that's in the skin and every single part of this tomato in my sauce. So I'm just going to throw all of that in the blender and it should look like this when you're done. I blended it for about 2 minutes, maybe less. Because I have a Ninja, so it blends good. So it should look like a paste, kind of, tomato paste. And that's how you want your consistency to be. Now I'm going to just chop up all of my vegetables. I have a red bell pepper and I have pimento peppers. Now, if you watch my other videos, I always tell you about a Cubanelle pepper that you can use, and that I just flashed across the screen is what that was, the light green pepper. So we're going to do 1 medium red onion and about 6, say about 8 cloves of garlic, 8, 9 cloves of garlic. And we're just going to dice that to go in our pots. I have parsley and basil that were kind of going bad in my refrigerator. So that's what kind of sparked this recipe also. I'm going to add that. I'm going to coat the bottom of my pot with olive oil. And then I'm going to add those onions and pimentos and let that simmer for a little while. I should say saute for a little while. And release all of the natural flavors from in those vegetables. And then I'm going to add in my red bell pepper. I'm going to add a teaspoon of sea salt, real sea salt, and also my garlic. And I'm going to stir that. I'm also going to add in about a half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. I use Grace this time. Sometimes I use Complete. You can use whatever all-purpose seasoning you have. I'm going to add my basil and parsley at this time. And also thyme, fresh thyme. So I'm going to stir that and let that hang out for a while. I'm going to add in 1 box of crushed organic tomatoes. So I'm going to add that. And at this point, I'm going to add in another teaspoon of salt, real sea salt. You want to layer the salt in every time you add something else to your pot so that this way it'll be flavored out all the way through. Now I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. I know you guys, but it cuts the acidity of the tomatoes. So now I'm going to add in the tomatoes that I blended up in the blender, and I'm just going to stir. I'm going to stir it really good. I'm going to add in another teaspoon of sea salt. And trust me, guys, it's not going to be salty. And just stir that around. I'm going to let this simmer on low for about 20 minutes total, checking it every about 7 minutes or so. So here it is after the first 7 minutes of simmer. I'm going to stir it and then I'm going to cover it back. At this point, I'm just going to add in some all-purpose seasoning, about a tablespoon, just to season it up to taste. You can add salt, black pepper, whatever you would like at that point. And this is how it should look after the full 20 minutes on simmer. I'm going to pour it into my mason jar for storage. I'm also going to use some of this for my beefaroni that I'm making for dinner today. Today I'm making beefaroni, so I'm going to add in 1 pound of organic ground beef that I purchased at Aldi's. And I'm just going to saute that with no oil. I didn't add any oil. Ground beef naturally releases its own oil. So I added some salt, black pepper, complete seasoning, and a little bit of all-purpose seasoning. And I just added in my homemade pasta sauce that we just made. Now I'm going to add in my previously cooked pasta, elbow noodles. And I'm just going to stir that up with a little bit more sauce. And that is it. Dinner is done, guys. I'm serving that with some salad. And today's dinner was nice and simple beefaroni with our homemade pasta sauce. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, and follow.